And welcome to the M2 Podcast. This is a show where we cover esports and personalities, gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, and technology and innovation. My name is Michael Anthony. My co-host is Kyle Heath. And pretty much what we like to do here is do the gaming news review of the last week. And what we like to start off with is what each other have been up to. So, Kyle, without further ado, what have you been going on? Like, what's been going on with you?
This past week, what did I play? I think I played some I played some more Saints Row, I'm pretty sure. A little bit of that, you know.
How'd that
Update
go?
The update has finally come out today. So last time I played was before the update, but went all right. Went very much okay, I'd say for the most part. I think we still had like a lag out in a mission or two, but other than that, well, not even a lag out, just a straight up disconnect for no reason, but still made some progress. We pretty much caught up on like all the side quests and stuff. I think when we were playing initially, we were just like, I think we were like breezing through the main story, and then when I was looking at the actual like how long it took to beat, I was like, oh, we're like actually like a few hours away. I'm pretty sure from actually finishing the game if we just keep playing the main. So we had like a ton of side quests to catch up on, so we were doing that. But now it's gonna be back to main story. But I don't know. There's not. I mean, in terms of actual story itself, I don't think we have much left. Which is like kind of unfortunate considering a patch just dropped that's supposed to like fix a lot of bugs. But but yeah, we're gonna be trying that patch out soon and seeing if it actually makes a huge difference. There was actually an article that dropped this week. I didn't put it in our lineup here, but it was essentially stating that the Saints Row developer is actually essentially being shifted over to a different like studio like management at this point. Like Gearbox essentially is taking over like the dev team. Like they're taking that dev team and moving them under Gearbox so they have like more resources and stuff. So I mean there could be some good that comes of that. Because I needless to say it's taken a very long time for them to even try and like fix the game or like content and stuff like that. So hoping to see some differences with that, but yeah, for the most part, I was just playing some of that, and don't really know if I did much other gaming this week. That was about it. Just playing some Saints Row, trying to get that done. I mean, what about you, Mike? I know you've been on some games this week.
Well, sorry to hear about Saints Row for you. I mean, I know that's kind of a
Is what it is,
bummer.
dude.
Yeah, maybe you can go back later and like kind of speed run through since you already know what's going on after you finish the game. But
Yep.
I guess for me, I played my placement matches on basically like a burner account on Xbox for Halo Infinite. I
Mhm.
streamed that Tuesday, I think it was. You stopped in for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I
I
did.
think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, dude, my boy
Yeah, I was
Mike
getting
streaming. You know, I'm stopping in, baby. You know,
man, man.
this man never
Yeah,
streams, bro. I have to.
that's a fact. Like I need to get back on my grind, at least like do a couple hours here and there because I do game. I just haven't been streaming. Um, I've been playing a little bit more of the Call of Duty campaign, and then I started playing a little bit of multiplayer. I think it was Sunday or Monday of trying to play on gamepad, so a controller, and just trying to like see what the differences are, stuff like that, seeing adjustments. I'm not as bad as it's not as rusty as I thought I would be. I was doing all right, but there were definitely moments, man, where it's like I didn't know the map well enough, so I was just getting bopped like constantly by people. But if I was playing on like mouse and keyboard where I'm way more reactive and like just quicker and more accurate, I could probably have held my own. So I think there was like definitely one of those moments where I was like, I gotta play more. I gotta unlock the guns, and it's such a hassle to do.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole big issue right now with like unlocking the different attachments for the guns. With like
Yeah.
how difficult it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Not good for the casuals,
Yeah, I ain't gonna
apparently.
lie. I don't know if I played COD this past week. It's kind of just
Yeah.
like I don't know. I may hop back on at some point, but I mean, I know it never was like huge on Warzone, so Warzone 2.
Yeah.
I will say Warzone 2, the proximity chat, I love that. I've been seeing so many clips of like just how much fun people are having with the proximity chat alone. So I'm glad they got
Yeah.
that. That's interesting.
It
Um,
came out today,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I guess it was yesterday. I guess Wednesday it dropped. So
Yeah.
yesterday.
I haven't played it or seen any gameplay. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. I did see like one or two clips on Twitter, but really, I've just like when a new thing drops for an EA title, not an EA title, Activision Blizzard title, and actually EA for that matter, I don't touch it for like the first day because
Yeah.
there's always something broken. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. And apparently I think I sent you the clip of Z-Laner.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
like it just kept crashing over and over again
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Uh, I think that's really all I've been up to this last week. Um, I slept more. I've been watching
That's good.
watching some TV and just taking naps and just chilling.
Yeah.
Just taking it easy, really. But,
Yeah, dude, I got a tooth pulled this week, so
oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
hoping this doesn't
How
affect
you
the cast.
feeling?
I mean, I feel all right, but it's like I think for the most part, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, there's not much swelling or anything, which doctors I feel like always hype it up like it's gonna be the worst thing because for some people it
Yeah,
probably is, but I'm healing pretty well, so for the most part I'm good, and I'm just popping the Tylees every now and again, a little Tylenol, but.
that's
But
a good idea.
but yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't affect if I'm like kind of low energy at all, or I look like I'm like pale as all get out. It's probably because my body's just healing and like trying to fix the
Uh,
hole that's been created. But
that's
yeah,
tough. Yeah, I guess as a podcast right now, we're kind of in shambles. Like I'm having to stand for this episode and move around because it's like my lower back, and it happened this morning, like after the gym. I don't know what happened, but like it's like a cramp or just tightness. So I'm just over here. You're gonna see me move around a lot, and I'm gonna try to do my best to stay around the mic so it doesn't do that whole like fading in and out, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But
Dude, we're struggling over here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to say it.
yeah,
But
we'll be fine though. We got a big next week. There's US like Americans Thanksgiving and Black
yeah,
Friday deals and Cyber Monday. So
yeah,
we get to talk about that a little bit.
yeah.
But for this week, like why don't we segue into the stuff you found for us?
I agree. I agree. Also, quick cliff note. At the
Yes.
end, I do want to talk about possibly next week's episode. I'm thinking a potential Thursday Thanksgiving release to give people time for the Black Friday because we're going to be going in pretty in depth on Black Friday. So giving people an extra day, could be helpful.
I think that's probably the
An extra
move
night.
because we actually have to record on the Wednesday.
Yeah, because we're recording a day
So
early. So I think it's only
might
right,
as well
especially for
release
Black
it.
Friday.
Yeah.
Like, people want to get those deals. Like, I think Thursday
Yeah.
morning will be the move. We'll post it Thursday morning so you guys have all Thanksgiving to actually sit down and absorb the information and see what's out there. Um, but
I
yeah,
like
dude.
that idea.
Oh, Black Friday episode's next week, but that is next week. It is this week, and this week we have
Yes,
some
sir.
stories to cover. Um, just a few, but I wanted to start off with Elgato. They dropped a brand new Stream Deck this week, brand new iteration to the Stream Deck lineup. The Stream Deck Plus is what they're calling it. Very we always compare it to Elgato's like the Apple of stream products, and this is like you can't get any more Apple than this. Just tacking plus on the end
Really.
of the actual device name. But regardless, this is a Stream Deck that features 8 buttons, like 8 of the Stream Deck buttons, a touch bar that is underneath the 8 buttons. Then underneath the touch bar is 4 knobs. So I think for a while, as a avid Stream Deck user, I use it on the show to switch scenes, do stuff in real time. And if you stream, it's good to have one. But most people have the standard Stream Deck. But I know for a lot of people, especially if you're using the whole Elgato ecosystem, whether that's like the Wave XLR or the actual wavelength, software and the Wave microphones, if you're using any of that stuff, there's a lot of features that would really benefit from knobs rather than clicking a button. So say you're trying to adjust an audio on a channel, it's much easier and much more intuitive to use a knob of some sort. That is definitely what this is targeted for. It's like if you're trying to use a knob, definitely going to want something like this. I'll read a little bit of the article though. It says Elgato, the company responsible for my strange addiction to putting more buttons on my desk. I agree with this article writer
Yeah.
over at The Verge.
Already.
It's just launched its latest streaming accessory, the Elgato Stream Deck Plus, which is currently available on the Elgato store for $199.99, $70 less than the Razer Stream controller, and $50 more than the Stream Deck Mark II. Just like its predecessors, the Stream Deck Plus has an array of buttons that can be mapped to a variety of functions and plugins available through the Stream Deck software. But this version is equipped with a set of 4 knobs and an LED screen. And I guess it's the LED touchscreen. I just think of like my head's going to Apple Touch Bar because that's what they on the Mac
Yeah.
they had that Touch Bar like thing. It's immediately what it reminds me of. Um, but I mean, it really is. It is a touchscreen, of course, but the way they show it off, it seems like just a nice little display. So like if you're actually adjusting like volume or something, you see like what it's actually adjusting in real time. Really nice little note there. And again, there's not. I don't think there's too much else other than this one thing. And I saw a video on this. I was watching Senpai Gaming here seller his video on this showcasing the product. The biggest feature with this is that if you buy the Stream Deck Plus, if you buy this product, you actually get the Wavelength software without needing a Elgato mic. So you can actually have like a mixing board essentially, and you can have an entire like audio station on your computer without the need of like Windows Mixer or anything like that, which is really nice because the Wavelength software is some pretty rad software, and you can do like submixing and there's you can really control everything on your PC through a piece of software. It's like huge. The biggest drawback was you needed a Elgato mic, right, to like actually access it and utilize it. But now, I mean, you just with this you can use the software and you don't need an Elgato product. You can just mix everything on your PC essentially. So pretty nice stuff there. I mean, that's probably one of the bigger benefits I feel like from a product like this is like not only the hardware is the hardware is going to be great and work well.
Hmm.
You also get the awesome software with it. So a huge plus there. Again, there's there's competitors. We've seen like Loop Deck and we've seen Razer's version. I mean, there's a lot of competitors now to like the Stream Deck market, but I mean Elgato's kind of they're the original creator and yeah, I mean the fact that they're releasing a Stream Deck with knobs, I think is it's definitely gonna. There's definitely some people that are probably gonna end up buying this, and if you're looking for a Stream Deck, this might be I think this might be a decent thing to consider if you're like a newcomer to it and you want to get a Stream Deck of some sort. This could be actually something you may want to pick up. I don't know, but what do you think about this, Mike? Do you have a Stream Deck?
No, I don't. My entire config is basically a mixture between using my SteelSeries mic, my SteelSeries headset that just comes with the regular knob for gaming and chat, and also my Astro Mix amp. So my stuff isn't really that complicated. I use a couple of digital things on my PC. I think a Stream Deck would probably help me out, but I don't know how often I would personally use it because really I spend most of my time just gaming and listening to like one channel and stuff like that. And if I do have two channels, it's pretty much either like desktop audio and then chat audio. I try not to go any further with that, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
But I do think from like a perspective of a streamer or anybody that has like multiple audio ports and this is like really demanding, I feel like most of the technology you're going to be getting is actually in the software itself. The rest of it seems to be more of like just analog features with the actual dial that you can press, like you can turn left and right, up and down, and also your analog physical like keypads and buttons that you can press.
yeah,
But outside of that, I mean, it just seems like they're all pretty much the same. There's only so many ways you can complicate a stream deck,
yeah.
you
That's
know?
true. Do you think this is peak Stream Deck, Mike? I think this is it.
Peak, I don't know. Like so Elgato also has the foot pedal too, right?
Yeah, very
So
true.
it's really just adding more and more elements until we get to the point where we can use basically all our extremities. And at that point, just use like we're in VR at that point. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an interesting product to say the least. I think, like for me personally, I've had a Stream Deck now for I think going on 4 years. I've had the same one. I think it was one of the Mark One, I guess you can call it now. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a fantastic product. I use mine every day, but it's mainly for like for me, I have a set of like monitors or speakers and headphones. Obviously, like most of the time, if I'm like not in a call, I'm using my speakers. So it
Yeah.
actually makes I have a button configured on my Stream Deck where I can switch the audio output like instantly. So I can literally just click a button and it switches the audio, and then I don't have to worry about like going into the Windows settings and changing anything. It's just literally click a button and it works, and like it's like seamless. So that like stuff like that helps me. Um, I mean, and even there's applications. I saw some applications here. I mean, editors can sometimes use them as like a macro board because that's what it is. So like
Oh yeah,
you can shortcut a lot of the editing process and streamline it. Um, and with this one even more so because like when you have the knobs, I I saw again in the Senpai Gaming video I saw Harris he adjusted a knob and he had it configured in his Final Cut to actually like cut off the frames of a video. So like and it was frame by frame, so he would
oh
just
that
barely do it,
was
and it would actually like cut the frame, which like stuff like that, like especially
that's
because
convenient.
like when I'm in DaVinci and I'm trying to like cut like a frame or I'm trying to
Yeah,
move something back a frame, like especially if you have the lock on, like if you have the like snap lock on, it'll like you'll go to cut a frame and it cuts like five. You're like, dude, come
yeah,
on, and like it's so frustrating. But with this, you can get really precise. So yeah, that could be an interesting use for something like this. Um, it's all at the end of the day, it's a glorified macro board, so it's anything on you can like, and it's got. I think the biggest thing about Stream Deck is its multi-action functionality, so you can really like automate stuff if you want to.
yeah.
Obviously, the people that are going to benefit the most are streamers who want to like have complex scene transitions or have these different interactive things on their stream. It's nice to just have a hub where you can just click a button and good feeling buttons too. They feel really nice, but yeah, it's just click a button and switches things up. But yeah, it's definitely a nice to have for streamers. But yeah, anyone I think could find use out of a stream deck, and this gives you more options and more opportunity to do things. I feel so. I'm all for
Yeah.
it. Am I gonna get one? Oh, probably not. At least not right now.
Yeah, you already have one. You
Yeah,
don't
I don't
really
need
need it.
knobs. So
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think I mean, now that I think about it, it's like that would be super convenient for me to have one central audio output because sometimes I'm having to actually like switch from one to the other, going back and forth. Especially when I like plug in the Xbox and it's like, okay, where does my audio come from? And then
yeah,
I have to literally unplug my Astro Mix amp and then plug it in to the Xbox. But that's like I feel like something entirely different to begin with. So
yeah,
it's its own set of issues.
yeah. That requires a different solution more than likely.
Mhm.
But yeah, good to see Elgato still coming out with new products. Um, who I wish was coming out with a new product in January, February.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, one of your games that you've been dying to play.
ladies and gentlemen, I hate to
Am I
report it, but Dead Island 2, the dev has delayed the game yet again. Oh my gosh.
how are you feeling emotionally over this?
One word, Mike. There's only one word. The situation. Devastated. There's only one word, dude. I love the sub headline. I got this article in Polygon. The subtext, the headline is the irony that Damn Buster Studios says the irony is not lost on us, which I really hope not, because this has just gotten worse than Cyberpunk at this point in terms of the
It
amount of
is.
times this
It
game
is.
has been delayed. Absolutely
Uh,
unreal.
what's been delayed more, Dead Island 2 or Skull and Bones?
I don't even say that, dude.
Yeah,
I
come on,
forgot
man.
about Skull and Bones, dude. You just had to bring it up.
Well, they
Oh
delayed it
man.
again, and we were all collectively just like, "All right, no more of that. It's out of my
Dude.
life." Like,
Oh, dude. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
It's true, man.
Just saying.
It's true. You wouldn't know when this game was originally announced.
Wasn't it like 12 years ago?
It says in the article. It was announced 8 years ago in 2014. um, it was
Maybe
announced
I'm
in
thinking of
20. So it was announced in 2014 for the following year. Changed dev studios twice since then. It's been delayed once more. Publisher Deep Silver and developer Dambuster Studios announced the Zombie game's latest delay on Thursday. That is today at the time of recording this podcast for your very ears. They acknowledged that the Black Cube of Dead Island 2's latest and hopefully final setback. Dambuster Studios said, quote, the irony of delaying Dead Island 2 is not lost on us, and we are as disappointed as you undoubtedly are. Publisher and developer said in a statement posted to Twitter, the delay is just 12 short weeks. Development is on the final straight now. We're going to take the time we need to make sure we can launch a game we're proud to launch. For those of you who've been waiting for years, thank you for hanging in with us. I mean, Dambuster Studios, you know what I have to
Woo.
say? I don't know how much more waiting I can do, I ain't gonna pre-order your game. I ain't doing it. All right.
Oh,
Give me
you're
the
crazy if you're
give me
pre-ordering anything
give me the
now.
Metacritic score right now. I refuse anything less. You know? The new release, guess when the new release is, Mike?
Oh, April something.
April. Not only is it April, but it's the end of April, the 28th of April, 2023.
They should have did April 1st.
Dude, they
Honestly,
would have got dogged. Are you kidding me? Oh,
I've been
dude.
just saying. Like at this point, you're trolling everybody. You might as well go all the way.
uh, there is one silver lining though in all of this, and that is in December, Dan Buster promises to release an exciting new trailer and gameplay at a Dead Island 2 showcase that is on Twitch and YouTube, December 6th. So that's gonna be, I guess I'll get another trailer. Whatever. I mean, I guess. Um,
Oh man.
oh, it's just rough. So I'll read a little more of the article too. So it says it's taken Deep Silver a decade and 3 developers to get here. After Techland creator and the original Dead Island and its standalone expansion Riptide decided to follow its own path with the Dying Light series, Deep Silver taped Jaeger to develop the sequel, which they did Spec Ops: The Line for those that don't know. Fantastic game, by the way. You should go play it if you haven't. It's very good. It'll make you think, and yeah, it's a very psychological kind of game. It's about the war and stuff. Anyways, great game. I'm not going to go into detail. In 2015, Jaeger was dropped by Deep Silver apparently over creative differences. UK studio Sumo Digital, who did Little Big Planet 3 and Crackdown 3, took over and worked on Dead Island 2 in silence for 2 to 3 years. Sumo 2 was ditched in 2019. Deep Silver announced that development had been switched to an internal team, Homefront the Revolution developer, Dan Buster Studios. Quite the path, huh? Quite the path, Mike. I have to say, it's I just want to play this game, man. I just want to play. If this is delayed one more time, all fans everywhere, it ain't happening, Chief. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I can take another one. I don't think I can do it.
I don't want to be a doomer, but I think it's chalked. I think it's going to be an absolute bust. It's going to come out and not work.
I hate to agree with you, but it's just the reality we face in modern day video games.
Yeah, if you see that many red flags, call a spade, man. It's
Exactly,
over.
dude. It's over.
It's chalked, man. I'm done ignoring the signs in the sake of like nostalgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like especially with like franchise level or sequel level blockbuster AAA titles.
Yeah. I hate to say these words, but if the game is good, I will be surprised. I hate to say it, if the game is actually good, I'll be shocked. Oh man, every time we see this level of delays, especially this often, history has shown us it's never been good,
Never.
Never. Dude, God of War Ragnarok released a week ago, dude. And it was and did they even delay
They're already
it?
talking game of the year. I don't think they did.
I can't remember if they mentioned 2021 and then
let's find out.
Delayed it. I can't remember.
God of War Ragnarok delay.
That is but it was like one delay if it was delayed, but
it was delayed.
Okay.
It was delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2021, and they Sony initially announced that it was expected to be 2021. It was ultimately delayed. I believe he said because of the panty. The panty. Because I think YouTube basically flags you if you say the full word or something.
Anyway, all I will say is that that's an example of a game that was delayed and released great, but you also have to consider it's a much different situation. We're talking about one delay that was like over a period of time. They didn't and like every game we've seen where it's delayed multiple times, it just never ends up good, man. Like we're talking, dude, Saints Row. It's fun. I'm having fun with the game, but I can't sit here and say it performs well. I just can't. And that's just reality of it. And it was delayed how many times? Like it was originally supposed to come out. Yeah, it was I think it was 3 because it was originally supposed to come out in February. I mean, it didn't get. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to come out in 2021, and then it got pushed to February, and then it got pushed to August, and it's and it released, and what happened? It's like a mess.
Broken.
And it took them 2.5, 3 months to fix it. It's dude.
It's like they get games. Not all devs are like this, right? We should probably throw that in there so we're
Yeah,
not
definitely
torching
not.
everybody. But it's like some of these games that are coming out are just playable. You know what I mean? Like they like the final build of the game, not the final build, but like the most stable version of the game. They're like, all right, that should be good enough, so we can get like the reviews out, make a couple of bucks to fund and get some type of return on investment to actually fund the remainder of the devs and engineers and art designers to finish up the game, and then they use us as like beta testers.
Yeah, I probably is an unfortunate
Yeah,
reality of it. So I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Don't get me wrong, games are super complex, especially nowadays. Like, there's a lot of
yeah,
systems, and I mean, some would argue probably too complex with how many people mess it up. But I
true.
mean, but you know,
They're bigger teams now, I think.
yeah, exactly. There's bigger teams. The more people you have, the harder it gets to manage, and that's just a fact of
That's a
any business, you know.
that's
So
a fact. Yeah.
I mean,
There's a
yeah.
there's this famous saying. I'm gonna butcher it, and I'm gonna definitely get the percentages wrong, but the sentiment you should understand is like in a company or an organization, there's like 20% of the top people do 80% of the work, and 80% of the people do 20% of the work.
No.
It's something like that. Like the skew is like, and if you've ever been in a position, especially with like team sports, organizations, group projects, like everybody can relate to group projects in school. There's always that one person that's doing all the work, and then like one guy that just never shows up.
Yep.
You know, that's like it's like that at all levels, man. All levels of like every bit of society. It's just human nature, I think.
Yeah,
So
it is, man.
it'd be
It's,
it'd be foolish not to think it happens as well in like game development. Like sometimes it just gets too big and there's too much vision, but not enough leadership to get there.
yeah, it's very true. That's how it is, and I don't know. All at the end of the day, all I know is I'm just worried about Dead Island 2, but I'm starting to get more of like, yeah, it's just not going to be good, and it is what it is. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
I'm not as much worried as more so as I am just preparing for just not a good experience. I don't know,
I mean,
dude.
2014, that's a long time, man.
Yeah, between three
That's a
studios. Come on,
long,
Dan Buster.
long
Dan
time.
Buster, you did Homefront: The Revolution. I heard that game was okay. I'll give it. I'll
I
say
actually did too.
2016. I think is when it came out, or something like. So it was a while ago, but I'm hoping for the best. But expectations are running dry. Just is what it is. Xbox is also running the accounts dry of people getting suspended, dude. It's unreal.
Yeah, I've
There
heard
was
about this.
there was a report that came out this week, the Xbox Transparency Report. They revealed up to 4.78 million accounts were proactively suspended in just 6 months. That's a lot of suspensions, bro. Um, that's a lot. So, anyways, article comes
That's
from The
insane.
Verge. You already know. Jess over at The Verge. Microsoft has released its first digital transparency report for the Xbox gaming platform, revealing that the company took proactive action against throwaway accounts that violated its community guidelines 4.78 million times within a 6 month period, usually in the form of a temporary suspension. The report, which provides information regarding content moderation and player safety, covers the period between January 1st and June 30th of this year. It includes a range of information, including the number of reports submitted by players and breakdowns of various proactive enforcements taken by the Xbox team. Microsoft says the report forms part of its commitment to online safety, and we see a little chart here, a little bar graph of what's going on. Enforcements that are proactive versus reactive, um, and yeah, this is pretty wild. So it's kind of hard to. The shades of green here are not in anyone's favor. I feel like it's kind of hard to tell between the two. But the
Yeah.
darker the darker shade of green is um, the reactive reports, and then the light green here is the proactive reports. And as you can see, year over year, I mean, dude, this is kind of wild because so approximately 2/3 of the enforcements issued in the first half of 2022 were a result of proactive detection, which is far more than previous years and previous 6 month periods. So July to December
That's
2020, there was 4 million reactive reports and only 400,000 proactive. And that pretty much that trend stays the same through January and June of 2021. But once you get to July and December, there was only 2.2 million reactive reports and then 461K proactive reports. And now we can see that the Xbox is that they're really making a commitment to safety here. If it's like, we're talking January to June of 2022, there's 4.78 million proactive reports, 253 million, 2.53, sorry. So 2 million, like 530,000 reactive reports, which is kind of crazy. So, I mean, far more than any previous 6 months, to say the least.
Yeah.
The reactive clearly hasn't changed much. It's been about the same, but it looks like Mike. It looks like they're taking some serious steps here to actually be proactive against accounts that are violating terms of service. Kind of crazy. I mean, wow, what's going on at Xbox, dude? They really want to up their numbers.
Yeah, I think this actually reminds me of what happened, maybe it was 2 years ago with PlayStation. So Sony announced that there were gonna be the report feature within, like, how should I explain this? Like, within voice group and, like, communication chat, when you filed a report, the communication that you had in group messages was recorded and sent as a file with the report system, and it was done automatically. So what
Yeah,
was happening was the Sony was automatically, like, recording all the conversations that people were having on their services, which, I mean, they kinda have every right to do. It's in their terms of service, and you agree to it when you use, Sony Live service. But Xbox here, I think it might be doing something similar, like proactive and reactive. I mean, those numbers are insane. They're like crazy high from the previous 6 months to
yeah.
these 6 months. And the only thing that I can think of where they made this massive change is the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And with the strewn, like, the massive amounts of essentially, like, lawsuits and, like, convoluted details that are coming out of Activision Blizzard, and, like, all the horrific stories that you're hearing, and yeah, civil suits. I think they're trying to get ahead of that with,
Yeah,
like,
it's a
let's
good
not
theory.
make situations worse, possibly. And what it does say with, like, proactive, it's like these people have, or these accounts have violated its community guidelines. So it's kind of all a bit reactive, because how else are they finding these people? Like, banning these people in general. You can't just ban an account just to ban an account, right? I mean, technically they could, but why would they do that?
Yeah,
You want to keep the good ones. So they must have been, like, flagged somehow. Maybe, like, they got numerous amounts of reports from the community when they're playing online games.
yeah,
Like, shout out COD players saying some really crazy stuff. So, like,
yeah,
I could see that happening. Um, really, it's like it's up to Xbox to exactly say what happened and
yeah,
why they're clearing the trenches, man. Trying to make it family friendly.
yeah. I think you have a really good theory, though. I suspect that Microsoft, as you were saying, is like they see what's going on with Activision Blizzard and all like the safety issues and the employment treatment and all that. Like they're saying that and they're saying, okay, maybe we can do better. You know, not only like with our companies, but also like just be more proactive, for lack of a better term, on the actual services we host. So yeah, I think that's a solid theory. Makes sense. A little bit further on the article, they have a little circle graph um showing the actual enforcements by action taken, and 34%, 2.43 million enforcements were account and content. Only 196,000 were content only, and then 4.5 million were 63% were actually account only. So around 6.93 million accounts received a temporary suspension in total as a result of both proactive action and player reports. Um, and so yeah, there's definitely not. So a little bit further down the article too, it says Microsoft says that Xbox ambassadors, which are community members who assist other players with general support questions, were invited to preview and provide feedback on the report, and that all information was collected in accordance with its commitment to privacy. Company will release a new digital transparency report every 6 months going forward to share progress updates alongside a continued review of Xbox's community standards. Overall, pretty solid stuff. I like this. I think this is certainly a step in the right direction. And it seems like
Ye-
Xbox figuring it out.
Yeah, one thing I just thought of that, like, so I haven't been using Xbox and the Xbox app in a long time, like as much as I used to when pretty much the only game and device I had was my console. I saw personally an uptick of bots, specifically like phishing scams, some adult content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they
Yeah.
were inviting you to groups where you're like, yeah, that's kind of inappropriate stuff. Like, why are you
Yeah.
on a console to begin with? Like, so hopefully those accounts are the ones that got targeted and banned. That'd be nice. Did you ever experience that at all? Where you
um,
getting like random miscellaneous DMs from like Hot Girl 66? You know what I mean?
you know, oddly enough, on Discord, I've seen an increase in that. Not necessarily Xbox. I mean, I haven't used Xbox in a long time. Do I think it's on Xbox as well? Of course. Like, I think it's
Mhm.
just we're in a period like even on TikTok, it's bad too. Like most social media, like it's just bad. Like even on Twitter, I get DM requests from like group DMs where it's clearly a scam or like clearly something stupid. And I'm just like reporting
Yeah,
spam like DMs like all over the place. I feel like it's just getting worse. So yeah, this doesn't all surprise me. I think it's probably most of it. It's just like these stupid like phishing attempts or just bots. Like
exactly. Mine's all crypto on Discord
yeah,
and Twitter
you're telling
all the
me.
time.
It's like from
Yeah.
Discords I barely use. I literally only stay in Discords for emotes. I'm sorry, all Discords I don't use. That is why I'm in your Discord. I like your emotes, so
Uh,
take it as a
I
compliment, all right?
I literally have a folder called emotes. And it's like Discords. I go in there. I turn all notifications off. I'm just here for the Pepes. All right.
Yeah, dude, it's not a bad idea. I should probably start compartmentalizing some of my servers, but yeah, dude, it's with everything. I mean, I do like to see that Xbox is taking a more proactive approach. So yeah,
Yeah,
I love to see that.
it's definitely needed in certain aspects.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
let's go.
You know what Xbox is being proactive about? And the Phil
Mm,
Spencer,
well, Phil Spencer, the king of Xbox
the king,
and
dude.
the main Xbox boss, the Xbox gamer, the
The
dude that just wants everybody to play childhood games.
CEO, if you will, the contender,
Yeah.
the the All Father, the one of three
Yeah.
main gaming pillars. God,
That's a fact.
got your Phil
And
Spencer.
he's like, I want to have everything free. Just give me Game Pass. Everything's free. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude. Well, Phil Spencer actually said that Keystone. For those that don't know, Keystone was the rumored streaming device that Xbox was looking to release for Game Pass, game streaming, cloud streaming. Keystone was put on ice because it was more expensive than we wanted it to be.
that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's very fair. According to the Xbox boss, the ideal price point for an Xbox game streaming stick would be anywhere from $100 to $130. Um,
Sheesh.
yeah, Jesus, right, dude. Um, it looks like the only place we're going to see Xbox's consoleless game streaming device is on Phil Spencer's shelf. In an interview on The Verge's Decoder podcast, the Microsoft Gaming CEO gave a status update on Keystone, the code name for Xbox game streaming device, and explained why the company doesn't plan on rolling it out anytime soon. He told The Verge that Keystone was, quote, more expensive than we wanted it to be when we actually built it out with the hardware that we had inside. Despite never officially announcing the device, the company shifted its focus away from Keystone to get Xbox Cloud Gaming working on Samsung TVs. Shout out Mad Mike. That is
Mhm.
for Samsung TV gang over here.
That's what I
Um,
said.
and other devices like the Logitech G Cloud. Um, yeah, and then person wrote the article said they got a chance to actually check out cloud gaming on the Xbox app on a Samsung TV a few months ago and was shocked at how well the games ran. So there you go, running well on these cloud TVs. Um, when asked what would have been the right price for an Xbox streaming stick, Spencer said it would be somewhere around $130 for that to make sense, especially if the plan was to ship a controller with it. Spencer explained that the Xbox Series S selling for $300, the price difference with the Keystone needed to be significant to provide value for the consumer. Very solid point. Definitely need a price gap there. But we didn't go into what made Keystone so expensive. He did say that the silicon choices we were making at the time of designing just didn't let us hit the price point that we wanted. It's all in the CPU and the GPU. Is that what you're telling me? It's all in the processing power, bro?
That's
Rather
what it seems to
unfortunate.
be.
That's what it seems to be, dude. Rather unfortunate. Um, yeah, it's I would love to see. I would definitely love to see a streaming device. I'd love to see a Keystone. I'd love for cloud gaming to take the next step, especially in the hardware space. There's also a ton of devices now that do cloud gaming too, so you can utilize your phone, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? It's quite remarkable what you can play on now.
Yeah, phones, tablets, like certain smart TVs. What else do you need, honestly?
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
how do you feel about the Xbox Keystone? Was that something you would ever get?
I don't know. If I did more cloud gaming, I'd probably consider it. I ain't gonna lie. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't done much cloud gaming. I want to use this phone more for gaming, and I just haven't. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Very
fucking get on it,
unfortunate.
man.
I need to, dude. I don't know. I need to get on it, but yeah, I'd still be interested to see what Xbox would do in the hardware space of like having a dedicated streaming device. Because the idea interests me,
Yeah.
so I'd just be curious as a spectator to see what they come up with. But looks like we're not going to get one soon. Rather unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't expect it. I think probably the next console that we're gonna get out of Xbox, because right now they're actually, we talked about this in DMs about how they're not even making money off their consoles right now. They're
Yeah,
selling at a loss. Like,
yeah.
just to get people on the platform, get them on Game Pass, and pretty much everything that we've been saying. Uh, so I think the main thing that they're probably going to try to do is what they tried to do with the original Xbox One, where they had they basically turned the Xbox One almost into a cable box. I could see that being the next transition, where you can basically do cloud gaming from something like the Keystone or something similar, and it also integrates directly with your cable box, like one for one with ease.
Yeah.
So you can play on literally any TV. It doesn't have to be a smart Samsung TV either. I think that might be the next hardware that they should go for. That and improve your damn Xbox controllers, man.
Oh,
They're
say it.
trash.
Oh, say it.
They're trash. They're
Oh,
trash.
trash. Say it, dude.
I'm just
Oh
being
man,
real.
it's real.
But
Yeah. So even the elite, dude. I'll say it. Even the elite, yo, you got people breaking bumpers out here. You got a little piece of plastic holding the bumper between the actual button and stuff. It's
dude,
unreal, man. On
it's unreal.
unreal, dude.
It,
Everyone's going
it
third party.
breaks with ease, basically.
Saying, dude. Bumpers break, buttons break, joysticks. Don't even get me started. You know what I'm saying? What are people having to put their dead zones on? It's like a month into the controller, they're already having to like have these crazy dead zones, dude. What is
Yeah, 15% dead zone. It works great. I'm like, I pick up the
this?
controller and it's clearly broken. Like, oh gosh.
You got the
R.I.P.
joystick spinning up and stuff. It's unreal, man.
Facts. Facts. So
You know what's
yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
unreal? No, dude. I
Sorry.
want to. I want to see. What was your last comment, Mike? I want to. What do you
I
think
was
about?
just
What do you think
saying,
about Keystone?
Keystone's fine. I think that they're just going to concentrate more on other hardware that they can integrate and like team up with, like Logitech G Cloud, which we covered in a previous episode. We've been talking about how Sony, specifically Sony, needs to just grab their Sony TVs and put a PlayStation in it, and I'll buy that tomorrow. But they're not doing it, and Xbox over here is integrating with Samsung. It's like Microsoft and Samsung. The partnership between those two companies right now is fantastic. I don't know if you've ever used a Samsung product or any of the tablets or phones that they got, but they're fire.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Um, they're really good, and just TVs in general are pretty good too. So I think Xbox is doing the right thing, and I look forward to seeing where they're going with it. It's kind of disappointing for Keystone, but I mean, I don't think they really need Keystone. I think it just doesn't make sense. That's why he's like, it's going to cost $130. Like, why would you do that when you can just buy a TV and it has multiple purposes? You know?
Yeah. It's a good point. I definitely ain't gonna argue it. Um, I will say before we move on though, I think a PlayStation and the TV is a good idea, but I get the feeling that Sony's realizing how niche of a market that's becoming and how niche of a market that could be. That's just why they don't do it. I don't know. That's my theory. It's like putting a VCR on a TV. You just don't. They put a
What are
DVD
you
player on the
talking
TV. You know what
about?
I'm saying? Listen, Mike.
What are you talking
I'm not
about?
crushing your dreams or anything. All right. I'm just saying.
You are totally crushing my dreams. You are
That's
1000% crushing my dreams.
I don't know, dude. Maybe it's Tylenol talking. All right. I just
It's definitely you're wild. Not many people have OLED, HD, or 4K TVs, flat screens. Okay, most people if they're lucky, have like the 52-inch cheapo version that's like 1080p that they got like 6 years ago. Okay.
You know,
And the PlayStation 5's been out for a while. Their sales haven't been doing too hot. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Like it could be better. Okay. So what I'm saying is that put the PS5 in your Sony TVs, put it on the production line, combine them. No disk drive at all. Just make it 100% a streaming application, and I'm good to go. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, you know, when people buy the disc version of the console over the digital, maybe add a disc drive into the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. It's kind of crazy.
Bring the DVD players back then. Let's go.
I will, dude. I mean, I will concede to one point. I ain't got an OLED TV, so there you go. Maybe an OLED TV in my living room would be kind of nice. But then
That's what I'm saying.
the only downside. I'm tethered to the TV mic. What if I want to play it in my room? I gotta bring the TV and just set it right here in front of everything. This giant screen, just playing like this. You know what I'm saying?
We're bringing back the last topic of conversation.
Show
I got
it
my
to-
portable streaming set up, show up to the LAN
Bro, show
with
it
my
to-
52, just like bring it in, place it down on the ground. What are you doing? I'm pulling out my PS5.
Oh my God.
What's it called? Their pro controller. Let's go.
Yeah, they're Edge, dude. I got a DualSense Edge. I'm ready.
Hey man, I've seen like the Quake Champions or the Quake tournaments. They're bringing their whole PCs, man.
They're bringing the dinosaur
Massive
monitors,
keeper.
maybe. They're bringing them Dino CRTs, dude. They're just
Oh, CRTVs. Oh my gosh.
showing up with that, dude.
How many people that are actually listening or watching us right now actually know what a CRTV is?
I don't know. If you watch Smash, you do. That's all I'll say. if you watch
you're-
watch Evo, you do. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what's
All right,
actually looking kind of fair? You know what's looking kind of fair?
Oh, we finally got new information about the 4080s.
The 4080s, baby. Finally got some new info.
4080s.
Nvidia's back with another 40 series card, the 4080. And I'm just gonna say the rundown. You know, if you're buying a 4080, there's a couple things. You know, you want some really insane 1440p gaming, or you want to dip your toes in some kind of medium level 4K and like 60 FPS and higher 4K. You know, very similar to a 4090, but it's not. We can discuss the frame differences in this article from The Verge. It was written by none other than Tom Warren. You know, he got his hands on the 4080. The dog, dude. The dude.
The dog.
I mean, look, Tom, if you ever watch this, we'd love to have you on as a guest. You know, I'll just leave it at that.
He's a goat. He's a goat.
He's a goat. But yeah, he gives the rundown. The card is $1,200. It's a 40 series. You know, it's gonna be a little pricey.
Yeah.
It's no 4090 though. That's what it's got going for it. You know, it's not as high as 4090, but still, $1,200. So, and it's also freaking huge, as the article states. No surprise there. The 4090 doesn't fit in most mid towers. There's no surprise there. But yeah, it's he even put it up against the 3080. I mean, we see the 3080 to 4080. I mean, dude, it's double the card, man. It's almost double the card. You know, same thing as the 4090. It's a big card, man. Yeah, we talked about a lot. There's also the 12-pin PCIe 5 standard, delivers 600 watts in total to this sucker. And Nvidia's had they've had some tribulations that they've faced with this adapter too, and like trying to get that to work and bending the cables, and it's just bad.
Yeah, melting.
Yeah, melting
on the actual board and everything.
It's so bad. But yeah, that is definitely a thing. But, let's talk about some of the benchmarks. That's what is the most important in this, and I think that's what's going to be the most relevant to discuss. So we talked, 1440p. Tom Warren did a bunch of testing, 1440p running on a brand new Core i9 13900K. We're talking about top of the line CPU right here. Top of the line specs. He outlines all the specs. He's got an MSI motherboard. He's got 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM running at 6600 megahertz. That's fast, dude. That's really fast for RAM. Yeah, and on top of that, he's using a 1000-watt Corsair PCU. That's probably going to be. I feel like it's going to be the golden spot probably for building a rig like this. You're going to need at least 1000, which is quite a lot.
So wild. So wild.
Yeah, there's a nice what I love about this too, it's just literally straight numbers when he shows off the actual 14 and 40p average
Yeah.
FPS benchmarks for the 4080. And he compares it in the line of the 4080, 4090, 3080, 3080 Ti, and 3090 at the end. And we can see, just to kind of summarize from a 1440p perspective, what we're seeing between the 4080 and the 4090 is that in most scenarios, um, maybe I wouldn't even say most, probably in like half of the scenarios, we're seeing very similar frame rates. We're talking like Flight Simulator, 63 FPS compared to 64. It's literally one frame difference between 4080 and 4090. I mean, even running DLSS 2, it's again a very frame difference. It's not much. You get to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're talking 259 on the 4080 and 291 average on the 4090. I mean, it's where we're seeing like somewhere there's definitely a noticeable increase, but again, when you're running that high of frames, unless you're running a 360 hertz monitor, you're really probably not going to know much of a difference. You're not going to see much of a difference. CSGO, I mean, should I even say what these frames are? I mean, you guessed it. I mean, you can run anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 590 average FPS on the 4080 and 684. There's not even a monitor. We covered a monitor. This was like back in like July or August. Remember, it was like it was a 500 like hertz monitor, something ridiculous.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
If you got that, maybe. But I'm confused if a jump from a 360 hertz monitor to a 500 hertz is actually noticeable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know. So, regardless, Gears 5 is actually a pretty decent gap. It's 179 compared to 222, so there's a decent FPS gap there. Controls 187 to 225. So a lot of these games, I mean, with ray tracing too. Ray tracing, for some reason, it'll control. It's different with every game. For some reason, it'll control. If you run control ray tracing, you get like 45 more frames on the 4090 than you do the 4080, which is interesting. But still, like very high frame rates. We're talking 125 on the 4080. Yeah, I'd be just going down the list. It's a lot of the same thing. It's very much like a 20, 30, in some cases 40 frame increase, and that's about it between the 4080 and 4090. So, definitely not a huge difference, I feel like, in most titles, but yeah, if you're running the right, it all depends on your setup and what you're looking for. And I mean, for 1440p, I mean, dude, both are insane. Like, those are insane frame rates for 1440p. So
Yeah, you can't complain, honestly.
you really can't.
So there's like Linus Tech Tips did I don't remember if I talked about this in the last episode, but correct me if I have. Linus Tech Tips did an entire thing on 8K gaming and 4K gaming and then 2K gaming. And he asked his employees to basically say like, okay, what resolution are we on? Can you tell? Not one of them can tell the difference between 8K and 4K. And not one of them could really tell the difference. Like a couple of them could between 4K and 2K. And the reason for that is because the game's actual graphics are just not there yet
Yeah.
for that like level of artistic like composition and being able to see it at that resolution.
Mhm.
So right now it doesn't really matter, but it will in the future. I do think another thing to really keep in mind here is the comparison on the charts between the RTX 3080 and the RTX 4080. There's basically if you go from a 3080 to a 4080, you're gonna have around 30 to 60 frames more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of significant. And
Yeah.
then if you want to go
Yeah.
from like a 3080 to a 4090, you're gonna have like what is that, 60 to 120 frames
Yeah.
more,
In most
which is
cases. Yeah.
wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like you need to keep that in mind when you're trying to choose, really. But
Yeah.
either way, man, if you're like, dude, 1440p and you're over here getting more than 60 frames on
It's pretty
ultra
good.
set,
Yeah.
like I'm not saying anything. That's awesome,
Yeah. For
you
sure.
know?
It's definitely awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's no denying that the difference between a 3080 and a 4080 is going to be noticeable, and
Mhm.
there's definitely a lot of improvements between those two, and like there's definitely that
Right.
thing there. I mean, again, it comes down to what can you actually fit in your PC. What are you gonna have to compromise?
Exactly.
What are you gonna have to get on top of the card itself to actually run the card? You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
And
And not just that, there's other elements to it that people don't think about. It's like the frame rate that you're dealing with, can your monitor handle that?
yeah,
Do you have a 1080p monitor, or you might need a 2K monitor? Does it have the right refresh rate? Because what's the point on going over 144 frames per second if you can only display like 240
Yeah.
or like sorry, you can only display 144. What's the point on going over it?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, and then the whole cable situation too, because like you need display ports that can handle it too.
Yeah. You definitely do. I love building PCs and I love PCs in
Yeah,
general, like doing all that. But there is a lot to consider. So I can understand how some people are trepidatious to actually get into building their own PC. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking to upgrade, definitely a lot to consider and a lot to keep in mind. And definitely make sure you do all your research before you pull the trigger on something. Um, and it's this is probably the most important time to do your research too, especially just from a physical hardware perspective, making sure you can fit everything
yeah,
and making sure everything's compatible. It's very, very important. Um, and if if you're in the market to upgrade a GPU, chances are you're probably in the market to upgrade your CPU unless you upgraded that recently separately, So a lot to consider at the end of the day.
yeah.
But
I mean, realistically, if you're going up to a 4080, you're looking to spend minimum $1,500 just in additional upgrades on top of the card. So it's like
yeah,
$1,500 and then plus whatever the card is.
yeah. So
Because
like
you need the right RAM, you need the right motherboard, you
exactly,
need
yeah,
the right CPU, you need like the right power. It's
exactly.
crazy.
And with Ryzen making a DDR5 requirement, it's like there's a lot to
Hmm.
consider. Anyway, this is the more interesting chart to me that I'm about to talk about, Mike. And this
All right.
is the 4080 with DLSS 3. So this is the newest DLSS technology Nvidia put out with these 40 series cards. This is where it gets really interesting and really showcases the power of DLSS and how big of a jump it is between 2 to 3. So get this. Looks like there's only 2 games that really tested with this who really utilized DLSS 3. We have Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this is just on the 4080. This is not, I'm just going to read the 4080 numbers because this alone is like crazy. So Flight Simulator standard with no DLSS is 63 FPS average. DLSS 2 is 59 FPS average, which is funny, like goes down a little bit. But the DLSS 3 Flight Simulator is 127 FPS average. That's double your frames, dude. Like just
That
from
is
DLSS
nuts.
3, man. That is wild. Absolutely insane. The other game they showed was Cyberpunk 2077. Default Cyberpunk 2077, no ray tracing, no DLSS. You're looking at 127 frames on a 4080. If you do ray tracing with DLSS 2, that's 99 FPS average. If you're doing DLSS 2 with Psycho ray tracing, I don't even know what that is, but that is 93. It's a little bit worse. But then you do DLSS 3 with ray tracing, you get 154 frame average on Cyberpunk 2077. Dude, that is nuts. I mean, literally a 55 in average FPS increase on DLSS 3 with ray tracing. Psycho ray tracing is a little bit less at 149. But then DLSS 3 perf, I don't even know what this is. We're just adding words to this, and just like there's even more. Cyberpunk 2077 with DLSS 3 perf plus Psycho ray tracing is 190 FPS. That's ray tracing, dude. Oh my gosh. Absolutely nuts. And if you look at the 4090, don't even get me started. I mean, we're talking 160 FPS almost when on Microsoft Flight Simulator with DLSS 3 on a 4090. We're talking 225 FPS with DLSS 3 perf and Psycho ray tracing on Cyberpunk 2077 with a 4090, 225 frames. Like, dude, this is insane.
At this point, man, like if you get a 4080 card, this might be the last card you're gonna need for like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Because our next bottleneck is gonna be the monitors.
yeah, it's just so true.
Seriously.
No, the bottleneck right now is the games. You know how many games are just
Th-
bottlenecked by the amount
That's
of power that these cards put
that's
out?
true.
Insane,
Yeah,
dude.
that's a fact.
Unreal
That's
Engine
a
5 is
fact.
going to be the true test of 40 series. Mark my words. You know what I'm saying?
I hope it
Uh,
triples it. Absolutely
dude,
triples it, man.
I hope it does too, bro. We need to regulate these cards, dude. We need
Dude,
Nvidia to cool it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
we just need them. Yeah, literally cool it down a little bit. Like your heat sink is so big. It's taking up 3 slots in people's PCs, and it's like 360 millimeters long. It's like, what are we doing, man? I-
Bro,
If it gets that long, required water cooling.
yeah,
Required.
right? It's bad, dude. Literally, you could fit a circus on the size of the 4090 and the 4080. Literally, circus is in town. You know what I'm saying?
Bunch of
Unbelievable, man.
clowns.
Bunch of clowns over there. Unreal.
Yeah,
Article also
we'll
goes
see.
through some 4K
Go,
averages, right? So
oh, it's insane. It's comparable.
yeah, I mean 4K
Uh,
averages, dude. Like we're finally at a time where we're seeing literally, besides maybe Cyberpunk and what else? Besides Cyberpunk and I don't know, Microsoft Flight Simulator in some cases, everything is above 60 FPS on 4K average.
yeah, that has more to do with the stability of the game than it does with the graphics card.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that.
Because
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
something
It's the game.
have you seen Forza Horizon 5?
I'm
That
sure
game
it's. I'm
is
sure it's disgustingly
gorgeous.
gorgeous. Yeah.
It is gorgeous. And this game 4080, okay, at 4K, 122 frames per second. What?
Dude, that's nuts, dude.
Bro, what?
Average. Average.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's right, average. Like what the hell?
Wild, man. It's
Yeah,
actually insane, dude. Not gonna lie.
I don't get it. I think just comparing the two charts here, your 4080 DLSS 3 at 2K is equivalent to the same FPS that you're getting at just regular 480 4K.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
what the hell?
It's insane. This is. I mean, I think 4K is even a crazier leap if we consider the 3080 versus 4080. The 4K is where we see even a bigger leap than I feel like when it was with the 1440p. The frame averages are insane comparable to the two. I mean, you're getting 30, 40, 50 extra frames in some of these games between the 3080 and the 4080. Yeah, I mean, they figured the part out. The only part they need to, work on is the actual cooling, but other than that, good job, Nvidia. You did it, dude. It's actually pretty crazy. They also give the same exact chart for the DLSS 3. And again, to no surprise, just like 1440p, there are some pretty big improvements, I think, between DLSS 3 and 2. Microsoft Flight Simulator from DLSS 2 to 3 goes from 58 FPS to 131. And I mean, yeah, we see a 30. We see a 50, 60 frame increase between DLSS 2 and 3 on Cyberpunk. So DLSS 3 knows what's up. More games are going to start implementing it and utilizing NVIDIA graphics to its full potential, because it's clear that, with this technology is when these cards really perform their best. So, but yeah, overall, 4080. I mean, Mike, if you got $1,200, it's yours, dude.
I think let's give the viewers a because really what they want to know, right, is what should they go with? Should they go with the 3080 or should they go with the 4090 or the 4080?
Yeah.
So either the 30 series that everybody's been holding off on or the 40 series that just came out. So I'm on PC Part Picker right now. Okay. GeForce RTX 3080 10 gigabyte is going for $885.12. And the next, let's see, the next 4080 is going for $1,679.99.
Oof.
So, yeah, basically, which would you rather have, Kyle? Let me ask you this question. Would you rather spend around $1,700 to get the 4080, or would you rather go with like $850 to $900 to get the 3080?
I am getting the 3080, no questions, no hesitation, no nothing, and I'll tell you why. I
Okay,
still
let's
game
hear
in
it.
1080p. I still game in 1080p.
Most
Do
people
I
do.
do I need a 40 series card for 1080p?
Probably
No, I
not.
don't. So there you go, dude. There's my answer. No hesitation. If I
Fair.
was gaming in 4K, maybe. But if I'm gaming in 4K, you best believe I'm having like a $5,000 PC sitting next to me, and like it's decked out, and I have monitors that are just like insane, and like I have one of those like ultra wides that hang above my setup from the ceiling, so like I can look at stuff like yeah, I'm going all out. So, but no, I mean, dude,
I
right now I'm gaming in 1080p. It's not changing anytime soon. At least I don't think it will. Maybe 1440p if I get a 30 series, but that would be the most I'd go, I think, right now.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty much where I'm at too.
Yeah.
And mostly has to do with my current hardware. I don't want to go upgrade like all my stuff, and I'm really concerned that the size of the 4080 will actually be touching my capture card underneath. in my other PCIe
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
And I'm not about to water cool for the first time on a $1,800 like GPU. So
Dude,
that's out of the question.
you're telling me you don't want to set up a water block, you don't want to set up a reservoir, you don't want to have to actually pour the liquid in and siphon it through, make sure there's no air. Like you don't want to do any of
No.
that.
I also don't
Oh.
want to have to deal with this Nvidia 4-plug mess that they got going out of their graphics card that sticks out, and if you like bend it too stiff, it'll actually create a short around itself and burn into the card. It's like, I'm good, man. Like, you guys figure that out first. I'll be over here with my 3080.
Yeah.
So
I ain't trying to be an early adopter, that's for sure. You know what I'm saying?
that's a
Good, dude.
fact.
I
That's
am
a fact.
good on that. And I mean, even I think there's like they're working on some power supply units that are going to come out like early next year that are actually like supposed
Yeah.
to like work properly and give you the proper port for the new cards anyway. I might
Yeah.
as well just wait, dude. I ain't trying to. I might as well wait
Yeah.
until that. I'm waiting until that gets figured out, solved, and we're in good standing. Because
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of wild to me that Nvidia didn't work with the PCUs, like suppliers,
you had to like release it on
manufacturers.
time. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what the
well,
deal
not
is there.
just to release it on time, just like let them know, man. It's like, hey, we're doing 4 plugs that plugs into one little socket on our graphics card. Deal with it.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah, man.
ports operate at different frequencies, and they're not all consistent. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you
So,
really don't. But yeah. Anyways, that was the 4080 spec rundown benchmarks. There you go. You can also go on YouTube and see every other, benchmark YouTuber, Jay's 2 cents, Linus, Tech Tips, Bitwit. Watch everyone and get their experience as well, because I'm sure it varies at least a little
Gamers
bit between
Nexus
each one.
too.
Yeah, Gamers Nexus, all of them. And you can find out more info. But I don't
Yeah.
know, Mike. I think that's all the info I had this week, dude. That's all the stories I had.
Yeah, I think it's been a good week.
Yeah.
Next week should be the Black Friday special episode that we're gonna launch on Thanksgiving Day. So shout out for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this week was pretty good. We have, unfortunately, Dead Island 2. Yeah,
Biggest bummer of the week,
Red
for sure.
for sure. But Xbox popping off, they're doing well. Elgato's released a new Steam Deck, which is always good. You want like new additions to the family of Elgato. And
Yeah.
then just really hearing about the RTX 4080 is probably the big story of the week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. New cards coming out. Am I really happy about them? I guess, innovation.
Yeah. I mean, if I had money to burn, I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my
Ain't
PC,
gonna
don't get
lie,
me
yeah.
wrong.
Ain't gonna lie.
I don't get me wrong, but I was also trying to stream in Overwatch and that sucker just shut off on me.
Dude,
Like
oh
full
my god,
scale
dude.
power outage, everything went off and I'm like,
That's
"Okay."
wild.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I unplugged one of my monitors and I was straight chilling, so I think it's a power supply issue
Oh yeah.
or
Probably got
just
like surged, yeah, and just shut off.
yeah,
For
so I
safety.
was yeah, I mean, it I don't know how graphics cards work, but I don't think having like a 1600 by 900 POS monitor over here operating at like 30 or 60 hertz, and then a 2K monitor 144 hertz, and then a 1080 monitor at 144 hertz, all 1 milliseconds. It's like I don't think that's good.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, I don't know.
imagine
I haven't
that's
imagined,
difficult. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I think that's where we're at when it comes to the hardware coming out, man. So,
It's very much where we're at. Where we're at. I mean, I'd say I'm still kind of like excited, especially to see what the lower level 40 series is gonna look like. But
yeah.
but the new ones, very cool to see. But not super interested in them right now, at least.
Yeah. Well, I think if you don't have anything else to share, we're closing out.
I don't have anything else to share, dude. Next week's Thanksgiving, for our US peeps, you
Yep.
celebrate. And, we'll try and get you out some Black Friday deals, so be on the lookout. Listen next week to see what we can show you, because we're going to be scouring this week and finding everything we can. And just giving you an hour of just the best deals in gaming as the holidays
Yeah.
approach. So,
I think everything related to gaming. So we'll probably do the consoles, of course, that's the easy stuff. The
yeah,
more complicated stuff, I think, would be monitors, TVs,
yeah, the more,
peripherals.
yeah,
Peripherals are going to be a big one because there's always really good deals going on with headphones.
yeah.
Possibly mics. I actually saw a couple on Amazon for the Shure mics.
Hmm. Oh,
A
yeah,
lot
I
of
think I
those are
saw
on
that
sale
too,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saw that.
So we'll go into that, probably hit the major headlines, and it'll be a deep dive into sales.
Yeah,
Really.
dude. I mean, the other thing too is games. I'm already seeing a ton of Switch deals, like on Switch
Oh
games.
yeah,
That's gonna be the biggest thing is Switch sales because you know you don't get too many of them. So,
that's a
um,
fact. They never go on sale.
yeah. So a lot of those games are gonna go on sale. It's going to be the time to buy games for your Switch if you have one and you want to try some stuff out. Although, well, another quick note: the new Pokemon game dropped, and or
Yeah,
the
that's
reviews
right.
dropped anyway. Um, I will have to send you later. I saw this really hilarious clip. Apparently, there are reports that the performance is horrid in that game on
Oh
Switch. So
no.
I'm seeing like really framey and a lot of pop in, and it's like I'll send you the clip. It's pretty good. For those
That
listeners,
is
go on
so
Twitter.
unlike Nintendo.
Go on Twitter. Go look up the newest Pokemon game. You'll see a ton of funny clips, and yeah, you'll just see how their performance is. Unfortunately, the Switch is like it makes it looks like the Switch is reaching the end of its life cycle, and it just can't keep up now. So, or maybe it's the dev. The dev may just not know how to, because a really good dev will do stuff within their game to actually make it so that you don't notice the limitations. Like they'll hide. They have really creative ways of
Yeah.
hiding the limitations. But I just don't think they did that for this game, and yeah, it showed. So, at least in the early patches, it showed. So,
Sheesh.
yeah,
Well, that's unfortunate. You're gonna have to send me the link and we'll look into it.
into it.
Um, yeah, but we've had them enough. We've had the listeners for what, like 70 minutes now? Let's
Oh
let them
yeah,
go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next week and further weeks moving forward. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. This is Mr. J.K. Heath, Kyle Heath, and this is the M2 Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later. Peace.
thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.